Hi. So nice to connect with
Hi.
all of you.
Yeah, and you. Thanks for inviting us on.
So as you can tell, this is my first doing Zoom. Normally people just call in. This is great though. I prefer this. This is awesome. Yeah. So let's get started. Could you each introduce yourselves? Maybe I'll whoever
Yeah,
wants to start first, go ahead.
I
Okay,
don't
I'll
know how.
start.
All right,
I
Anne
don't know.
Marie.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie. I think there's just Claire and myself here at the moment. I'm not
Okay.
sure if Jade or Becky have been able to join through the link yet, so we just need
Okay.
to check if they're
Okay.
in the waiting room or something. But hi,
Got
I'm
it.
Anne Marie in South Wales. I play bass and sing and write songs
Awesome.
with NaNaz. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Claire, how about you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Claire. I play the guitar. I do a little bit of singing as well. And yeah, just starting to write songs. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
me.
Awesome. So no one else is in the waiting room right now, but as I see them come in, I will have them join us.
Okay.
How
So
did
I'm just
how,
going to message them.
okay, great. Um, while you're messaging, I'll ask Claire. So how did this band NaNaz come to be?
So, well, it started for me because my husband saw a poster in town which was advertising free punk workshops for women over 50. And he
Okay,
thought, well, that would be of interest to Claire. I'm sure it will. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to go and
I'm
do that. It
down.
sounds like
Yeah.
loads of fun. So I didn't play an instrument or anything, no
Oh,
experience. Yeah, but that's the thing. You can just, the thing was, you don't have to play an instrument. You don't need to know anything beforehand. Just come along. So
okay.
some people in the band do play, that played previously. Some
Yes.
people have performed previously.
Okay.
So yeah, I went along to the workshop, and each week it would be on a Sunday afternoon in a very sort of hardcore punk venue called the Cab in Newport.
Hmm.
Um, and each week would be a different mentor leading a workshop about, say, bass one week, guitar the next week.
Very cool.
So, yeah, so we went to the workshops, we met at the workshops, and then at the end of it, we decided to form a band. So that's how it started.
Claire, I love that you said that no one needed to know how to play anything because it's one
Yeah.
thing to go in and I interviewed this band a long time ago called the My Dolls, and I was told by Judy Davids, one of the key musicians, we only knew three chords. So I love that your husband's like, yeah, join this band or this opportunity, and you didn't know how to play. That's
Yeah,
that's
well,
so
to be
cool.
fair, I did. Yeah, to be fair, I did buy a guitar when I was in my 20s, and I thought, right, I'm definitely going to learn. I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
learn. But as
Okay.
with many of my other hobbies, it sort of went by the wayside. So I think
Right.
maybe I did know two or three chords, but just played them
Okay.
very badly.
Yes.
So I still know about three chords, and I just play them with a little bit more, a bit more.
Bit more that's so funny.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And Anne Marie, what about you? Tell me about your background and how you connected with this workshop.
So I think I've always, watched music, been around music, and lots of people in my family played music. Um, and I'd been in choirs and things like that. And when I was young, I'd played the violin for a bit and the recorder, as people may do when they're in school. And then I just was visiting my mum. My mum's in a care home. And I thought, what am I going to do to make these Sunday afternoons a bit more fun? And I
Hmm.
could see these free workshops advertised, and it said, are you over 50? Doesn't matter if you can play or not play. So I ended up just drifting in there and really liking the bass, to be honest with you. I've tried playing the guitar in the past, didn't get very far with that.
Hmm.
I think the great thing about punk music in particular is that, part of the charm is the chaos, I think. And also, lots of our songs are still three chords. In fact, two of them are two chords. In fact, behind one of Marega's songs, I play E literally all the way through. So just tell your listeners that if they can play E, or
I'm gonna come
maybe,
audition because I play
yeah,
guitar. I can play more than three chords.
okay. So if
Okay.
you can play E, A, and G, or E, G, and A the other way
Yes.
around, you'll be fine with a few of the
Yes.
chords. We'll be
That
fine
is
with some
so
of our
funny.
songs. Yeah.
So if I come and visit, I can crash your band maybe for a song.
Yeah,
Oh,
Very cool.
definitely. You can get
definitely.
Now, did you both have artists punk bands that you just loved listening to growing up?
Well, certainly for me, because I'm older than Claire, I'm 61 now, so that I was young but still able to get into some of the big punk band, concerts and gigs as they kind of happened around, uh, certainly the late 70s and 1980, that sort of time. And yes, we all absolutely idolized Polystyrene from the X-Ray Specs. And there's a band from the north called Penetration. They had a female kind of lead. Bands like the Rosillos. And then, of course, we looked over to America and you had all those people that we knew about. So we all loved Patti Smith,
Oh,
Chrissy
yeah.
Hind, Blondie, all of your women as well. And of course,
Yes.
forever there's been these amazing women that we can look up to. And we had the Slits, we had the Raincoats, we had all these other women that we could just admire, adore, and just kind of want to be, really,
Yes. 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 I have to tell you both. So I've had this show, which is called Get the Funk Out,
Uh-huh.
since 2011. And I thought, what better way to get out of a funk, midlife or whenever in your life, than to have the NaNaz on. But I wish I don't know how long you've been a band, but I had a show years ago called Moms Rock the House. You would both be perfect.
It
And
would,
it was great. All women artists and from all over. And so that's why when I heard about you, I thought I got to have them on. So
Oh,
are
thank
you
you.
surprised that people were like, "Oh, women in their 50s and 60s playing punk music"? To me, I'm like, "Yeah, so." I mean, meaning that it shouldn't be like that, right?
you're absolutely right. We've always been there. It's
Mhm.
just we've never had the coverage, I think, and things like that. So there are amazing female bands out there. We just came
Right.
over to America actually in May with
Yes.
Loud Women. Cassie Fox is a woman who lives in Brighton, I think, in the south of
Mhm.
England, and she heads this Loud Women organization. And they now have, festivals all over the world. And they did a Loud Women New York festival. And we came over, and with 11 bands, we kind of really had a great time in Brooklyn in May. So, and
So
all the bands were either female fronted or mainly female or LGBT,
that's great.
bands. Yeah.
That's great. So, Claire, let's jump to you. What does your family and community think of you being in the NaNaz, and how long have you been in the NaNaz?
Well, this band sort of started as the NaNaz last March, so it's
Mhm.
not that long at all. And we did our first gig in Amory's Garden in July for her birthday last year.
Okay.
So we're not going long at all. My family think it's great. Yeah, I've got 16-year-old twin daughters, and yeah, they think it's
So,
really, really good fun.
definitely cool. The cool
Yeah, we
mom.
did ask them the other day how they felt about it, and someone was saying, "Are you excited?" And one of them said, "Oh yeah, definitely." But yeah, Mum's quite calm about it, so we're quite calm about it.
That's cool.
I'm not calm inside.
That's cool. Do you both have a lot of gigs lined up for the summer?
Well, what we're trying to do is not gig every weekend because, like Claire said, she's got girls doing exams at the moment, or we
Yeah.
all have work or caring responsibilities or other lives going on. So we've been really lucky in that we've got places on some really good festivals, some local ones, some community ones, and also some slightly bigger ones. So we're going up to Blackpool, for example, I think it might be the biggest punk festival in the world, Rebellion, it's called.
Wow.
And we're going up there for 4 days. And amazingly, lots of people, that are now actually getting so much older as well. But whoever's left of the late greats in punk,
Yeah.
will be there over those 4 days. And
So
we're on
cool.
Rebellion introducing stage on the Saturday afternoon. We're
Amazing.
playing the pavilion in the Winter Gardens up there, so it'd be quite a big crowd there. And we're
Mhm.
also playing another big festival down in Devon called Beautiful Days with Madness are there, the Levelers are there, Super Furry Animals are there, all sorts of people. So,
Awesome. Awesome. And Jade is connecting with us right now.
oh, so great because we call her the adopted grandkid, really, because we had a drummer before called Nina, who Nina was 65. And of course, playing punk when you're 65 is pretty hard going, especially on the drums. Some of our songs are, as fast as the Ramones, for example, stuff like that. So you're playing maybe 165 or whatever beats a minute. So it was a real physical workout. And for Nina, she was doing boxing classes, all sorts of things to keep her upper body strength strong and fit. But actually, it was really so flat out. She's now decided that she wants to come along with us and get the crowd going. So Nina often brings her maracas along, and she'll be at the crowd and dancing. And we found Jade, and Jade's just become the heartbeat of the band, really. So I hope she does join us, because she's fantastic with technology, which of course, when you're our age, is like, thank goodness for that, someone can do social media and all this kind of stuff that we have to now do. And she just casts different eyes and introduces us to new bands, and Claire's also really good at telling us about new music, aren't you, Claire? You follow lots of new bands.
I try to. Yeah, I'm sort of a new punk. You like all that.
New punk. Yeah. So let's bring Jade on to the conversation. Hi, Jade.
Hello. Sorry about that. My phone was not playing game.
No problem. No problem. So tell me about how you heard about this band and your background with punk music, or just as a musician.
So my background as a musician, we'll go with that very first. I've been playing now, it's been 19 years in September.
Awesome.
So since I was a kid. And my music taste predominantly is more the rock and metal scene, but it goes very hand in hand, I think, with the punk.
Yes.
And like especially like attire and stuff like that, they work very close together. And then with these guys, I actually I practice at the same studio as these guys and below them. And they were in need of a drummer, and the guy who owns it recommended me to these guys, and also messaged me on Facebook actually saying, this is Anne-Marie's mobile number. Here's the video for 60 Lies. They're in a need of a drummer. Have a listen and see what you think. And I think it took me maybe 2 weeks before I reached out to Anne-Marie and dropped her a text message, and then literally within like 5 minutes, she's calling me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Hasn't stopped since, Jade.
That's so funny. She's like, when are you playing with us?
Yeah.
And Jade, what has the response felt like for people hearing about, the NaNaz online, in person? What has this experience been like for you?
It's been like no other band that I've played in. I mean, I've been in the original scene for like 6 or 7 years before the NaNaz, and this is just completely a different vibe and feel, not just with the guys in the band, but just how as a band they're being. I should say we, really. I am part of the band. We are being received. And everyone's just been so lovely and just so supportive and really gotten on board and behind what we're trying to do and what kind of message we're trying to give across to everyone else. And it's been really lovely, the words, especially like after shows. I know we played a show here in Wales at the Cab, and we just finished, and people started chanting "NaNaz, NaNaz." Like that's just such a nice feeling, to have after a show, because it's completely unexpected as well.
Absolutely. Tell me about that message. You said there's a message that you want people to get.
The message is really that it don't matter what age you are. Music it's a language that everybody understands. Doesn't matter what spoken language it's in, but from a soul language, everyone understands it. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. If you have a dream, to go and chase it, to go do it, the only person that stops you is yourself.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. And earlier, Claire and Anne-Marie were saying, we only knew a few chords, or we didn't really know much of anything. what was your perception of that? Like, hey, we're going to make this work.
I think for me, maybe it was a little bit not frustrating, but a little bit harder for me at first because I had to slow down and
Hmm.
remember, wait, these guys are, are going to
Hmm.
need a little bit maybe longer on a song, or we got to do it
Sure.
slow and then build it up. I
Yes.
was so used to going into a studio and just laying things down and practicing it for a week solid, and there you go, there's an EP.
Hmm.
These guys, because and this goes back to my previous statement, it has nothing to do with age. It's just because they're such new in doing this.
Yes.
And then it was like, I remember where I was when I first started drumming, and it was exactly the same. I was exactly the same. So I'm kind of like, oh, it's like looking back a little bit, and oh, these guys remind me of myself,
Yes. Okay.
just in a
So,
different scenario.
which is a beautiful thing that you shared and says a lot for the three of you and the whole band of that you're empathetic, you're patient. It says a lot about you as a person, Jade. And I love this. I love how you've all grown together. Where would you like to see this go? Maybe we'll jump back to Anne Marie first.
Well, that's really interesting because at the moment we haven't spent much time looking at our much wider vision. And I
Hmm.
think we've all got slightly different ones and we all get something very different out of it. And with four of us currently writing songs, and they're about incredibly different things, So Claire's got a song about the menopause, which of course women all over the world are kind of relating to and things like that. And then I talk a lot about things that wind me up, things that really frustrate me, things that I observe. So I might be singing about recycling one minute or how much my mum's got to pay to be in a care home another minute, and my latest one's about the fact that men, when they chat you up when you're older, say things like, "I bet you used to be beautiful once," and
Come
they think it's a
on.
compliment, or "I bet you were lovely back in the day," stuff like that, and you think, "What? So what am I now? So what am I now?" And they generally think and can't see that that's
Ridiculous.
not okay. So my latest
No,
song is called "Be Beautiful" because it's
yeah,
about that chat up line,
love
basically.
that. Yeah.
And Claire can tell you about it a bit. Claire's latest song is about the fact that, all of us are all kind of listening to people all saying they're being diagnosed with ADHD, or some neurodiversity. And
Well,
it's,
that's kind of odd. Yeah, it's to do with like being menopausal, like ADHD and kind of perimenopause. Sorry, Anne-Marie, interrupted you then.
no, it's your song. Please do.
Yeah, so it's
Go ahead.
it's just about the kind of symptoms that can be brought on by perimenopause. And I'd experienced
Yeah.
very much kind of ADHD symptoms, which I think is mainly hormonal.
Yes.
But you're still experiencing those symptoms, so it's just about that really.
And
So,
I think I could relate to it because I'm still working in mental health services. I'm still working as a nurse in the NHS. And I think we've got an 8-year waiting list for people to get that diagnosis in the NHS at the moment, because of course times have changed. Things that we just thought, when we were younger, I'm a bit agitated or I'm a bit nervous or I'm a bit wound up. Now
mhm.
people have labels for those sorts of things, and it's really interesting. Speaking to my kids about being 61 and never having taken medication for stuff that people now take medication for, stuff like that.
Mhm. Well, would you say that being in a band, I'm sure for all three of you, really helps your mental health?
Oh, it's better than therapy. We did some vocal workshops in Newport, and some of the women there had really really terrible backgrounds or been experienced all sorts of things in life,
Hmm.
and they were able to really process or sing and kind of get their voice out and get angry. And some of the women in the room said they'd never ever been able to feel anger or access that part of themselves. So definitely yes. I think songwriting is a great way of channeling all sorts of really strong feelings in a palatable way. So incredibly therapeutic, yeah, and
Yeah.
also reassuring as you get older. you think, oh, I can't do that, I can't remember that song, or gosh, what were the chords for that? And then you're very reassured when all of a sudden you can, it's like, I can learn new information, I can coordinate my hands, or whatever I'm thinking.
Yes. And this will keep your mind active, that mental fitness.
Yeah.
Jade, what about you? Tell me about the power of music in your life. We have about 5 more minutes, by the way.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Music is such a powerful feeling, and for a person, especially going on with, Anne-Marie's words, especially playing the drums. I find it quite a primal thing being a drummer, because you can literally physically take your anger out on something legally. As I always say, I don't play drums, I just beat the hell out of them for 45 minutes.
Wailing.
So so it's a little bit, I think, a bit more again than just singing or writing lyrics. I actually physically get a beat my anger out or something. And for me, if it wasn't for drums and music, I probably wouldn't be here as a person. So yeah, it's a huge thing in my life, music.
Fantastic. So we just have a couple more minutes. Do you have a website you want to tell people about, for people to listen to your music? Anything you want to share?
So we don't have a website yet. I am actually in the middle of building one for us. So as soon as it's out, I will email you the link.
Okay.
But for everything else, we are on Instagram.
Okay.
And I believe it's the NaNaz. Is
at
it NaNaz Band?
At the NaNaz Band. We're at the NaNaz Band, yeah.
The NaNaz Band. Okay, and I'll put that up on the show page, which is getthefunkoutshow.kuci.org. I'd love to do this again if you're game.
And if anyone would like any merch or anything at the moment, it's up on Bandcamp. And music, we are also on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. So there's a plethora of different places.
And our EP, Claire named, and it's called Nanifesto. So, please look out for that.
I will say this. So I started playing guitar when I was 10, and I broke up with it like a relationship, off and on and off and on. And I'm back to playing, but I'm only like playing in my bedroom. I was in a band years ago, and I often think, oh, I'm not good enough to be in a band. And I think that's such a silly mindset. And especially what you all shared today, it was very inspiring.
Well,
you'll have to learn one of our songs.
Yeah, honestly, I think we all felt a bit like you did, and we're so relieved we've got over ourselves and gone out there. We want to empower other people. If we can do it, anyone can. Please pick those instruments up. Come, meet us online, playing with us online. Do things like that to just.
I'll do it.
Please, let's do it.
EAG.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Jade, send me the chords. Anyone send me chords.
There are a lot of groups that are springing up around the world as well now, it seems. We're hearing about other groups that are starting to sort of teach workshops to women as well.
Good.
We've heard the DJ in Alaska. We've heard from Loud Women. They're starting their own in London, and we've got some other ones starting in Bristol.
Well, this could be like one of those cures for menopause, right? Or perimenopause.
Totally that,
give an instrument, anything. So we do have to wrap up, but again, I'd love to have you do this again. And if you ever have a gig again, I know you're in New York, but I'm in California, but I'd love to even connect with you online. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll get to California and see you there. Let's think like that.
Okay. If not, I'll just come online and jam with you.
Yeah. And come to Wales.
That would be amazing.
Please
I've never been. That'd be amazing.
We got the first Loud Women Festival in Wales on the 3rd of October, so that might tempt you. And there's other American bands coming to that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Send me the link and all the details. All right.
Okay.
Will do.
Be well.